social media has really shifted in the recent years, right? And there's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of content being created every day. Actually, there's a statistics that says that there's around 200 billion plays daily across Facebook and Instagram. That's crazy. That's a lot of content every day, And the major shift is that everyone now can create. Everyone now is a content creator. Everyone now has been empowered to create content, right? Like as long as you have a phone and you can literally create anything you want. You can post it on social media any day you want, anytime, whatever you want. Like social media has empowered all of us to be creators. And this means that there's a lot of content out there, as I said earlier, And as a business and as a brand, how can you stand out in this seemingly crowded content and social media space, right? And in this video, I'm going to break down some of the steps or some of the things to note when creating content that will stand out on social media or in this age of social media. Hi there, my name is Ruth Mwikali from Tiar Social, and at Tiar Social, our main business is to make social media work for brands and businesses through strategic and unconventional people-first content that drives business results. Because at the end of the day, we are not creating content for the sake of creating. We are creating content that is aimed at helping us meet our business goals and basically. So the first step to creating content that works for your business and brand, or creating content that will stand out in the marketplace, of course, the first step is understanding your audience deeply. Who are they? I feel like most of us skip this step. Most of us feel like it's not important, or we just skip it, right? But it is really important to understand your audience. Who are they? Which platforms do they use, or which platforms can you find them on? What entertains them? What pushes them to take action or to comment or triggers their emotions and things like that, right? It is really important to understand your audience, because how will you create content if you don't understand who you're speaking to? There's a temptation to say that my product or service is targeting everyone, right? And it feels nice. It feels like you can make a lot of money, or it feels easy to say, right? But who is everyone, Who is everyone, and how do you speak to everyone, right? For example, like I am targeting business owners who want to make social media one of their highest converting platforms, right? Or channels, right? And it is really important to even know how to craft your message, how to package your message, and things like that. So the first step is to understand your audience deeply. There's no skipping this step. I know it's very tempting to skip this step, but you might skip this step, but along the way, along the journey, I'm telling you, you'll go back and define your content, your target audience. So it's very important to start by understanding your audience. And some people say that it's hard to know who they are serving, and I'm like, if you don't know who your target audience is, then you don't understand your product. And understanding your audience is a result of understanding your product, because how did you come up with that product or that solution? What problem in the market are you trying to solve? So if you don't understand your audience, it means that you're not even understanding your product. So the first step, even before understanding your audience, go back and understand your product first, right? So that's the first step. And another thing to note when understanding your audience, it is important because your brand is not the hero. I'm sorry to tell you this. I know you put a lot of effort into your brand, into your product, and your brand is not the hero. Your customer is the hero. Your brand or product or service is just a guide to helping them, or it's just the medium of helping them achieve the desired result or solve a big problem that they have, And the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of businesses are focused on creating content about their product every single day. This is our product. This is how we sell it. This is why you need to buy our product. This is our mission. This is our vision. I mean, who cares about your vision and mission right now? No one cares. That's the bitter truth. No one cares about your mission or vision. People just want to know, how is your product able to serve me? How is it able to solve my problem? How is it able to help me achieve my desired goal, right? If it's fitness, right? How is your product able to help me lose weight? Or if it's beauty, how is your product able to make my skin softer or smoother? How is it able to finish my acne and things like that? So don't get in the trap of thinking that your product is the hero. Your product is not the hero. Your customer, your target audience is the hero. And that's what good content should do. After understanding your audience deeply and understanding that you're not the hero, the next step is now defining your content pillars, right? So your content pillars are just to guide you on what you'll be creating about, on the topics that your content will be tackling, right? So a mindset to have here when creating your content pillars should have a good balance, when it comes to the funnel. The content, we call it the content funnel, right? So a good balance in this sense. Your content should have the top of the funnel. You should have top of the funnel content. This is content that is aimed at reaching a wider audience, or making you discoverable by more people, or creating awareness of your brand, right? Now, after creating that awareness, or after now getting that attention from a larger audience, now you create the next level of content, which is the middle funnel content. This is content that is able to help you build trust and authority with your brand and business, right? It is very important, because you're not creating, or you'll not just create entertaining content. At the end of the day, it needs to make business sense, right? So you've taken that attention, you've built, you've reached more people, and now you have them on your platform, right? So how now can you build attention, or build authority, or build trust with your product and service? At this level, your product should answer a very simple question. What's unique about your product, and how is it helping me solve my day-to-day challenges or achieve my desired goal, right? My desired goal as a target audience or as a prospect. So at this stage, your content could be testimonials, it could be before and after transformations, it could be things like that, content that is able to just build trust at scale. And then after building that trust, now the next type of content is content that is able now to drive people down the sales funnel, or below the bottom funnel, the bottom part of the funnel, right? So content that is now able to convert these prospects, or these people who are interested in your product. How can we now convert them, or how can we guide them to take a desired action, or an action that we need them to take? It could be downloading an app, it could be visiting a website, it could be making an order, and things like that, right? So when defining your content pillars, it's very important to have the funnel mindset, content that will take people down that funnel, right? And down into the desired action that you need them to take. After now defining your pillars, the next step is, of course, creating your content. This is where you define your scripts, you shoot your content, you edit your content, you post or schedule your content, and things like that, right? So when creating your content, the first important thing to do right now is, don't create for the sake of creating. Do some research. In your niche, look at the top creators in your niche. What are they creating? What are they doing? Study their content. Study what their hooks are. What are their content formats? What content styles are they doing, right? Of course, it's not to copy everything that they are doing, but it will just inform you on how to package your content, or your content in a way that has already been proven to work. That's why you need to study the top creators in your niche, because the idea here is not to reinvent the wheel. It is to use what's working, because when you decide to reinvent, it could take forever, right? So study the top creators in your niche, look at what they are doing, and then now package from the information or from the findings you'll get from that. Now package that into your own style, into your own messaging, into your own unique delivery. But even after studying your top creators in your niche and things like that, it is also important to keep testing with your own content, right? You have content that's working. Of course, when you find a format that's working, just double down on it until it stops working, right? But also keep experimenting. And experimentation should be just about 10% of your overall content, right? To just be a small percentage, because this is how you come up with viral pieces of content and things like that. After now creating your content, or while in this period of creating your content, it is important to come up with systems that help you remain consistent with creation, consistent with editing, consistent with posting, consistent with everything, just consistent. Because one thing you'll realize is that social content creation is not easy, and it's not something you should be thinking about every single day, right? Like, it's not something you can do every single day. So systems like batch creating, or even before your shoot, you have like content, you've prepared content for a whole month, right? And then maybe finding 1 or 2 days where you can shoot the content once, right? And then editing the content, and then maybe scheduling it, right? With tools like Meta Business Suite, Sprout Social, and things like that, right? Because content creation is not easy. And if you say that you're going to rely on creating every day, posting every day, and things like that, it can be quite hard. So that's why you need systems that will help you to remain consistent with your creation and with posting. The next thing is, make sure that whatever you're creating, you've put a lot of effort into it. I see people doing just the bare minimum when it comes to content. Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, people just doing the bare minimum. Like, one thing you need to know is that even the quality that you put your content out with, the quality of your video and your audios, speaks so much about the person you are, or about the brand or the business that you are, So if you want to build a premium product, or if your product is premium and your brand, you want it to feel premium, of course, you need to pay attention to the quality that you put out there, because this says so much about who you are as a brand. Another thing is, if you're putting out educational content, give a lot of value. I see in this space, especially the Kenyan space, people are so afraid of offering value. People are so afraid of giving out value, right? And this is the best. This giving a lot of value and giving depth, having depth in your content, just goes a long way to giving you an edge and showing people the kind of creator or business or person you are, People can notice depth. People can notice work that has put into something, and that just goes a long way in just helping you package your brand, right? So it is very important to put in effort. Like, if it's content or if it's a video, invest in quality equipment, have a good camera, have a good lighting, good audio, and things like that, right? It's really, really important. I mean, it's not the only thing. That's like 20% of content creation, but it is just really important. It goes a long way to helping you build authority and just authority in your space. And then the last obvious point is consistency. Yes, we've developed systems for consistency, right? But the last step I need to put emphasis on is consistency. And I know consistency is very cliche. We hear about consistency every day, especially right now. We are told to remain consistent with creating. If you can post daily, please do so, But what are you consistent with? What are you consistent in? Sometimes you could be consistent in the wrong thing, You could be posting daily, but is it giving you results? So it's not just about consistency when creating content. It's about consistently testing. If this format is not working, is there another format you can try? If this hook is not working, can you try another hook? I feel like, especially in Kenya, we need to do a lot more when it comes to testing and putting in effort into the content that we put out there. You cannot just wake up one morning and just go shooting random things. Like, it needs to be prepared. There need to be scripts at times. They need to be creators in front of the cameras and things like that, right? So be consistent in the right things. You could even be posting once a week, but you've figured out a way that's working, and that's fine. But you cannot post daily on things that are not working. What are you doing? You cannot be doing the same things every single day and expecting different results, right? Another reason why you need to be consistency is that consistency builds trust at scale. When people keep seeing you, when people keep seeing you showing up every single day with the same quality, with the same message and things like that, it builds trust, right? And even the message that you're putting out there, when you keep talking about it every single day or every single time, people start believing in your message, right? As long as it's a good message or it's the right message. Another reason why you need to be consistent is consistency helps you make the algorithm work for you. Sometimes when you're posting or when you're starting a new platform or a new page, right? Like, social media needs, or platforms need to see that you're consistent, because the main goal for these platforms is to keep people on the platforms longer, right? So if you're consistent in the right thing and with quality and things like that, they will increase your distribution because you're reliable, because they know tomorrow you'll show up the same way with the same quality, and they can push your content, or they can push your content to reach more people if it's resonating with people, right? So consistency is very, very important. Yeah, and that's it from this video. I'm really hopeful that you found it very useful, and if there's anything I've left out or any further clarification you need, please let's meet at the comment section. Please don't forget to like the video and share and subscribe, right? And see you in the next video.